So before, whenever somebody go look at the video, that picture's gonna come up. Cut you off.
He's not gonna win.
I think he recorded it. I think that's what gotta get those things.
Yeah, there's
Idiot.
and then two the
Straight idiot.
Who? Their defense getting better, bro. Listen, their defense move around.
We talking about going to Super Bowls or being better than they were before. Once again,
I mean, you can't. I mean, you gotta take stepping stones, bro. You ain't gonna just
Tell
beat
me,
us on Super
all
Bowl.
I'm asking is what you're talking about. If you're talking about being better, then obviously the talent's better. If we talking about them trying to go to a Super Bowl or even make a playoff run,
No,
I got a question to this.
Bro,
That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't, because at the end of the day, bro, you still gotta get steps. If you really
No,
think about
like
it,
you
the NFC North.
Black,
No, he's never
black and blue
done.
division.
So,
Black and blue division.
so
They still there with
that's why,
Pittsburgh,
that's why
Baltimore.
I'm laughing.
The session
They are
I'm
now.
like,
They are now. They gonna all them games be tough anyway. All them games was
Hey, did
tough.
y'all catch the video I sent on the email?
Today or yesterday?
City today.
I
Oh,
wanna be.
I said, I check your email.
I looked at it. I just,
That's what makes it even funnier when you beat
With the
somebody
pictures,
up in your
I didn't like the song, bro. Because they the real talk. I
Huh?
remember
You talking about the real song, the new one?
It didn't say Paul, it didn't say
Like-
he said it, so we could barely just, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you said get me out of jail.
What did it say?
That's what you said, if you mean, if you was like that.
It didn't say nothing with
Hey,
it.
your name clear as fuck.
there it
Did
is.
you hear yours?
Said it ain't clear than anybody.
Your name real clear, I'm not talking about him.
Definitely.
I feel like I'm the sidekick of the show.
I had a trade with it. Trey, what it do?
Hey, I did this. Hey, he already did. Never change, man.
You on the second place, ass fucker, too. Last place, oh, yeah, that's what I'm asking. Never have been. Oh, okay.
Y'all my brother.
It's family.
No.
It's family.
Y'all my brother. Y'all my
It's
brother.
family.
Only one second. Give out
You never run a track and lose the polar in a race, bro. Other than long distance.
That wasn't his fault. It was a 4x4 relay. It wasn't his fault.
4x4 win as the brothers lost to Poland. To Poland, man.
It wasn't his fault.
I would say this. When you don't take your opponent seriously, that becomes an issue. It's just a respect when they came and got it. Because they had the lead, and they gave up the lead. That was the killer part about it.
They finished second place. That's all that matters.
And the killer part about it was they had the lead for the first 3 days. Then Anchor gave it up. Because he came in. And the thing else, you saw it on the back stretch. When he got the baton, that first 100 was good. That second 100, when you supposed to get your legs out,
Didn't do
and you can always tell by the way they breathed. He was already dead, breath-wise.
I'm trying to figure out how he was eating the ankle leg.
Well,
They
because
said that dude running the third leg kind of got fed a little bit too, though.
well, yeah, but at the same time, the funny thing about it is, I think the biggest misconception people have is that your anchor leg is supposed to be your best leg.
I think they changed
Actually,
it to the second leg should be your ass.
I didn't get usually
I did hear that the third dude got kind of sucked up.
it's just like even on the sprint relay.
Still
On
gave
the
off.
4x1, your fastest guy's your third leg.
He still gave
That's
away.
your
They
fastest
were
guy
still
right
winning
there.
when they
Because they
gave
got
it.
And the third leg.
now.
You see, gonna blame the
it.
third.
He did his part on the team.
Yeah,
That's why you
Kind of came up short.
your best starter.
All I'm saying
Your
is,
scratch leg.
You won't wait a second.
I'm about to throw this.
I didn't
I'm about to throw this gummy bear at you.
but my intel said
When they were showing
the guy running the third leg kind of got fed a little bit too, though.
some like some awards, and I was thinking,
I'm about to throw this gummy bear at
when I was in high school in the 90s,
Is that your brother?
Yeah.
What else?
You didn't get right, bro.
Yeah. from Texas, like Dennis.
Oh, Dennis.
You can start talking to him like I'm talking to you right now. I'm trying to get it to you, to get it him. It's a domino effect.
Hey,
You don't know nothing about that?
Domino effect.
hey,
Domino effect.
People help people.
Shit rolls downhill.
my little brother just fine.
No,
We
he's
all
not.
fine. We
No,
fine.
no, you finna second the
We
pole,
take
man.
that shit you talking
check,
and
mic
brush it
check.
off.
I getting beat up by that too.
We take that shit and roll off.
He's like getting beat up.
You find your contacts that can outrun my little brother.
Hey,
In your contacts right now.
I'd actually say.
I'm in his context.
I got a Poland cousin right now that's in my I got family in Poland, man. Are you serious?
Nah,
Oh, he says, don't make me call fam,
we ain't
man.
got nobody in your phone right now.
One of my Poland contacts.
All I know, when I was a kid, I used to run Kevin with.
He call Poland right now because the shit is
If he
too long.
better than me, I
I
probably
can only call them on weekends. My service plan don't call for that right now. Too high right now.
See, what had happened was,
Boy, I tell you.
It's alright, your mama gonna get calling him. Keep doing this on air so your mama can stay on his ass.
My mama gonna cuss you out.
No, she didn't curse.
Nah, I ain't say she don't curse. She don't want you to curse.
You need to let her know I'm about to age. Funky. I think she.
Hey, I tagged I'm going live, so I tagged you. So anybody that you know that
I'ma stay short. Oh.
what you call it? Hey, I'm gonna find a way to transfer this.
Wait until that motherfucker put Paul name up in that bitch. So it can be a success.
The chart. The Nintendo, the Super
Who did
Nintendo.
this shit?
Is it a charger?
My boy Stanley. And,
What is it?
We need to get them a shout out.
It's a Nintendo.
Oh,
Sorry, Black.
what's up? What's up? Welcome everybody to this and that Sports Access Show. How you fellas doing tonight? Everybody just say what's up real quick.
It's good.
What's up, man? We
Here,
here?
I gotta tell y'all, say what's up.
We ain't gotta do
Yeah,
nothing. No, we so used to
You
doing
switch up the- you switch up the-
Yeah.
Hey
What
man,
you supposed to do?
that's what make the shit fresh. Just change it up every now
So they
and
don't
then.
charge us up?
Hey,
They
hey,
don't-
man.
Exactly. Community.
Hey, out there in the radio world, take a second. If you on Facebook looking, on YouTube, take a second, log into the Iron Royalty Radio
Gonna be good.
and listen to us on the radio for 10 seconds. Everybody do that. 987-654-321. Okay. Hey man, you can follow us on Facebook at This and That Sports Access. You can follow us on Instagram at This and That Sports. You can also follow us on Twitter at This and That SA. Hey, we also have a call-in number. You want to one of you guys saying something you don't like, you want to debate these dudes or whatever, because I know ain't nobody gonna come for Coach Spat. So you can call in at 972-591-636. Hey man, like I said a while ago, this Coach Pat, the dude that's gonna drive this thing, the dude with all the knowledge about baby. Hey, we also got Trey with Analytical Corner.
What it do, y'all? What it do?
We have AV the Kid
In the building.
and bringing up the real. We have Paul, the Real Talk Guru.
What? We gonna bring you. We gonna bring you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Hey man, in a little bit we got a special guest in the building, Mr.
Clayton Baker. We got Clayton Baker, CB in the building.
Casey
So,
Baker.
CB.
We had to
Former-
brighten up the room a little bit.
That's the one that's in the building?
Yeah, he right here.
He in the building.
In the building. Hey, we
That's the name up right in front of him.
yeah,
In front
yeah.
of me.
They let him know it's real. Took too long to give me them pictures. We from Missouri Tigers and Kansas City Chiefs. Hey,
Oh,
I ain't see that boy.
Kansas City
Yeah,
Chiefs?
Yeah,
That's the boy that I ain't
What
see.
you-
Oh, he a Bronco fan.
Y'all
We
get
got-
up out of here. Trey, come on.
Oh, he's a Bronco fan.
What year you play for the Chiefs?
97.
97.
Yeah.
Stanley Petrie there.
We got NFL players and everything up here. Hey, you ladies, if y'all can see it, the dude still cut up, look like he can play. Shorten him up, but he still look like he can play.
Oh.
Y'all want to check him out? Hey, man, what?
How the shortest man always talking about somebody short?
Wow.
Hey, that's how I do it.
Hey, I think he dropped a bomb.
Yeah, that was.
Hey, man, I want something I want to share with y'all. See if y'all agree with me. And this one, it's not even a headline. It's just something that Coach Pat ran across. I got 4 players that could have become legends in the NBA.
Okay.
4 players.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, Grant Hill,
All day.
could have became a legend. If anybody disagree with that, anybody got any takes on that?
Injuries.
He was slated to be a legend
Yes,
with
sir.
where he was going right.
Co-MVP. I mean,
You young cat.
co-rookie.
Yeah, co-rookie of the year, had a hell of a career still, even though but he,
With the
Triple,
injuries.
a walking triple double.
yeah, hell of a player. And this other guy, you young cats ain't gonna know him, but it's old dude, Michael Ray Richards.
I remember that name. I just can't think where I know
See what I'm saying?
Telling
Yeah.
his age, he telling his age.
Nah, he before my time, but I studied my craft. You dig what I'm
Can I
saying?
get some background on this guy? He played for? Where he come
Hey,
out?
he was I don't have all the background on Michael Ray Richards, but I can tell you this: he was gonna be Magic Johnson before Magic Johnson,
Oh, wow.
and what took
Where's he
him?
from?
Oh, y'all too young for
He
that.
played for the Knicks.
You
I
not from
forget
the
what college.
DFW?
No.
What the hell we talking about in Florida?
Because I said we just talked about Grant Hill. He ain't from DFW.
Oh, shit.
Grant Hill is from the DFW.
His dad is, not him.
That mean he from?
That mean he from it.
Oh,
Hey, I got 2 more cats. But Michael Ray Richards, he was really good, but drugs took him out. He one of those dudes. He was gonna be Magic Johnson, but the drugs and the women and missing practice and all that. He was that dude. Yeah. He started getting the fame and missing. When I say missing free throws, if you check Google this dude, man, I mean the ball wasn't even touching the rim. Kind of looked like probably the Guru jump shot.
He from Lubbock, so that Texas. Sugar Ray.
They called him Sugar
Well, I guess
Ray.
he is.
From Lubbock.
They called him Sugar Ray. But he was gonna be an all-time great man if he didn't let them drugs take him out.
Okay, let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
What got you on this adventure?
What I'm talking about now?
Yes, sir.
Hey man, sometimes I love
You back there
basketball.
drinking or something?
No.
Nah, I'm drinking.
Cause he felt guilty last week when he said when we left with Grant Hill, we hit him with that Grant Hill at the end.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm not done.
he
I'm not
put
done.
Penny Hardaway on
Hey,
him.
your boy Reggie Tennis said he played for New Jersey. He was incredible.
See that? Reggie Tenner's an old dude, so he know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And hey, we got Reggie slated to be our guest host next week to talk to Masters for. He's a big golf person. Hopefully he'll come in next Wednesday.
So,
Yeah. You hear that?
I thought he was
Say it again.
in '78. He was the first round, 4th pick overall.
By the Knicks.
Knicks.
The Knicks.
Yeah, he was gonna be a bad boy. And I got somebody left out to this, but let me go on. The third person is Penny Hardaway. He was gonna be one of the all-time greats. Hey man, Penny Hardaway's
I
a
love
bad
Penny.
boy.
If you gonna bring him up, obviously.
Yeah, but the best one of them all.
Better be from
Yeah.
Dallas.
That's right.
Okay.
My all-time favorite. He played on my all-time favorite college team. He went to Dallas Skyline, and he Larry Johnson, man, grandmama. If he didn't hurt his back, he was. A lot of people don't know he was the first one to sign for like 80-something, 85 million. Nobody was doing that,
I remember.
and Larry Johnson was the one that signed for
You said
that.
Hall of Fame?
I remember.
Legend.
I was part of that.
He was gonna be a legend if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
You don't remember.
I remember
you
Larry
look-
Johnson.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. But act like you looking
I'm
like
only I was thinking another Dallas man. I was thinking of a Dallas Maverick. I thought you was gonna say
Brother Toddley.
Roy Tarpley.
Nah, he could have been. No, the dude I left off the list, I did these top 4. It could have been a whole bunch of other guys left off. But I was gonna say, dude, no, the dude that tore up his knees a couple times for the Knicks. What's his name? Bernard King.
Yeah.
He's one of my
Hey,
all-time
but Bernard
favorites.
King is a legend. He said
No, but
He's still considered.
But I
one.
think he is. But it seemed like he could have been greater if he didn't hurt them knees,
I agree.
man.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? He would have been.
The first guy, dog.
Yeah.
You know, regular 55. He was in that 55 number a lot.
He would have been mentioned before Jordan and Dr. J and all
This
those
was
guys.
before they was doing 3 points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no 3-pointer win.
Everything was 2.
Yeah, he was killing.
I wouldn't put him on the list because he is a legend.
He's a legend, but I'm just saying he would have been on like
So
the
before
Michael Jordan level.
So before you put our guys that would have been legends if something ain't happened to them, right? Pretty much, or you just
What?
talk about the list that you just.
Yeah. That's it.
Put Tarpley on that list because Tarpley was started off as a 6 man and he was the one guy that the league couldn't stop. The
That's
only
true.
thing that stopped Roy Tarpley was drugs. He would come in as a 6 man and still hit double. I'm
Only
talking about
drugs.
not a 10-10
It's the only
game. I'm
drugs.
talking about.
I actually forgot about Ron Tarpley, but yeah, he was a hell of a basketball player. I really enjoy Ron Tarpley. Hey man, anybody else got any sports takes before I go on
Sports takes.
for this weekend, this
Oh,
past
Michigan.
The
weekend?
news.
Yeah.
Oh, Michigan.
Hey man.
No.
Go blue. Go blue.
UTA men's basketball. What the are y'all thinking and doing out there in August?
What they do?
Inform, please.
They fired Scott Cross.
The coach?
Yes. today, and I'm livid. I can't even.
He brought basketball back to UT. Why would he do that? Why would they
They
do
had
that?
no real reason other than to say, well, you want to be the Loyola, Stephen F. Austin.
You gotta be kidding me, man.
They just
Stephen
they
F.
were
Austin, too.
they just was in the
They were just
tournament
on
last year,
that.
wasn't it?
Yeah, they got a conference schedule game.
Yes, they was playing. They was playing
Yeah,
some top
yeah.
ranked
Do you
teams.
know Loyola just they hadn't been back to the dare since 1970?
Can you tell me right quick, roster? I mean, their coaching staff. They're
Chris
trying
Beard?
to bring not Chris Beard, but the other one, Beck, Brock, something. What is?
Oh, his assistant. Oh wow.
He's going to be the next UTA coach. I'm highly disappointed.
They think he have a
Scott
what the
Cross
word is about.
brought basketball.
He did, man.
I agree.
He did. I'm
You know what
telling
I'm
you.
saying? And to see that he getting fired,
No,
now, he was rumored to be in a lot of other coaching jobs somewhere else.
Oh, he gonna
I
get a
thought he
coaching job.
would have left last year.
He gonna get another coaching job. real
Yeah.
quick.
You know, the last thing is that he recruited the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
He
Yeah,
recruited that area very well.
that's amazing, man.
I know because I helped. You know what I'm saying? I was on board with that, but I'm done.
I wonder how this
Don't
is.
look my way,
Right.
UTA. I don't care who your
I
next
wonder how
coach
to.
is.
I wonder how to.
The coaching staff for Texas Tech, right now.
Yeah, Chris Bird,
Bird, and then who's the guy?
Adams,
What?
Mark Adams,
No,
Chris Ogden.
Ogden is the next coach.
So they already announced it.
UGA. No.
That name sound familiar.
Oh, yeah, I understand. I know you got
Had a little gray area.
I know you got all the good info.
Now, Scott Cross was rumored to be taking a pretty high profile job, but because that team did pretty good in the tournament,
What's team?
I ain't gonna say we see yet. And now,
Oh,
Them Aggies.
what they?
Hey,
Hold
Paul.
on, what are you saying?
Dre Rose asked you if you stole one of Prime Prep shirts.
Oh my God. Dre,
What's up, Unc?
Nah.
Just so for you to see.
in memory of Texas Tech and the run that they had,
There you go.
that I was pulling for them bad,
this
man.
was
I want to
Number 12 happened to have a bad game at the time.
Yeah.
He was missing layups.
Keenan Evans.
Yeah, Keenan. He don't know. He wasn't normally missing those layups.
A lot of them guys are missing shots that they normally miss.
He was number 2.
Zaire,
Zaire was missing putback.
Well, Zach missed all the time. Yeah, Zaire for sure.
Shout out to Zaire Smith because he ain't bad.
So put him in the name for
And nobody was talking about that dude,
Who was that?
Zaire Smith.
Oh yeah. You brought him. Yeah. Hey,
But the
man,
Real
you
Talk
just-
Nation was on it.
Man, Real Talk Nation, man, you just dropped a bombshell up here at This and That Sports, which is all too deal, because I hadn't heard nothing on that.
So
Normally,
no sports news for you.
what you got?
You already know. We already know.
We already know.
AAU news. Tyrese Maxey done dropped the bomb. Said he's playing with
Uh-oh.
The only other
the home
Nike
music
team.
effect.
Uh-oh.
No, I
The
know.
other Nike team,
Yeah.
Drive Nation.
Oh, I thought y'all about to say what college you went.
Yeah. No, we ain't gonna. We're gonna try to beat up when we make
Kentucky.
that announcement.
Kentucky.
Whoa, hold on,
My bad.
man. Yeah,
You good?
Is that where you think you want to go?
PJ.
You all right?
that's what you think.
That's what you think, right?
Oh, okay.
We need him up. We need him.
We gotta say that.
We
We
need him
can't
in
get
Ann Arbor.
Yeah, that's we
He ain't thinking about the mission,
What you
that's
say?
for sure.
We need him in Ann Arbor.
We ain't going to
If
Michigan.
you go to Michigan, you gonna be
He gonna be
Michigan
blue.
State with Izzo, but
You gonna
that's
be
just.
blue.
Actually, yeah, that's who they were
That's what he
talking
should-
about for a
that's what he
minute.
should do. Yeah,
State-
You're not even sure Izzo gonna be there.
Izzo said he'll be
I
there.
don't know, man, that
Man.
investigation that's going on over there right now,
Yeah,
it's gonna be, it could be a problem for Mr. Izzo.
that's true.
I ain't trying to start nothing, Mr. Clay.
No, but it's true.
Babe, when we drop
But that
news,
smoke, that's fine.
when we drop news
There's a whole lot
about
of smoke.
But he got player of the year.
yeah, Reese got
Oh,
played
yes, yes, sir, yeah.
Oh, it ain't no question about who the best player is.
No, there was no doubt
That's-
about that.
That's what I
Tyrese
was.
Maxey is you can't.
Anyone going against that is a.
Matter of fact, if it was anything else,
Hey,
that'd be fine.
I got a question too, man. What you guys think? Will Tiger win the Masters start next week. Gotta bring up a little golf.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
You
So
said will
You
he?
asking, will
will
he?
he win the Masters
I don't
next
think-
week?
I don't,
Probably not.
I don't think he'll win, but he's gonna put up a good fight.
He'll be a lot more competitive than he had
Yeah, I
been
don't
when he
think
first
he's gonna
came.
win, but I think he'll put up a good.
A win
good
is gonna be
showing,
a stretch. He'll have to tap into
Some
some old.
people actually think he's gonna win this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a lot of people that think he's gonna win, but I just think, I mean,
Well, people want to witness greatness. So.
yeah, they want. Don't get me wrong, to win,
The
Yeah,
Masters
sure.
want him to win.
but
Brady.
as far as will he
TV
win?
wanted to win.
Oh yeah, everybody want to win, but I mean, shoot, the other people that they don't want to win, that's playing against them.
But y'all gotta remember, man, all the big boys are gonna be in this.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's why I say that.
There's some guys hitting that ball very well right now.
And they've been hitting it all year
Yeah.
consistently.
The
So
state of
that's
Texas, I'm sure, is behind Jordan Speed, bro.
Speed.
Yeah.
I'm more than
no
sure.
doubt, no doubt.
Yeah,
Hey,
Dallas
you know,
is on.
I was actually trying to get us a spot down there at the Masters.
Hey,
Yeah.
It just, you know, they moving to the southern sector. They doing a party. I know it's a shock. I was surprised.
you should have a party for real, like that.
I did when
The Byron Nelson.
I was in my 20s. I delivered the chairs out
Out of the Byron Nelson.
there. Yeah, Byron Nelson.
Man,
I delivered the
I delivered the chairs for the
Chairs.
furniture company out there. So yeah, I was at.
He's right. No lie. In my whole days, I used to hang out there.
Oh,
For
yeah.
real.
It's a
Right.
different
So you
ball
still
game.
hang out there? Is that what you said?
I wish.
That's what it sounds like.
Never mind. My bad. Honey.
He talking about
she
your
listen.
days.
Money came from. Hey, anyway, it's a meat market out there, AB.
Yeah.
You're young, you're single. I'm telling you, you need to get out there, man. It be on and
Just be
popping.
Hey,
women
hey.
everywhere, huh?
Before we take a break, I got a couple quick questions. How will Serena do the upcoming tournaments after just having the baby? Just your opinion. Because nobody knows.
Hey, she might be alright though. She might be alright. I think she's gonna be
She
alright.
got her loss out the way when she lost to her sister.
Oh, they do?
Um,
I'm just letting
Okay.
you know.
But yeah, I think she's gonna be alright.
I like that. All that grunting and stuff.
You know,
Now that we
that's
know
the
she-
breed. That's
No,
the
real
help
talk,
the breed. You know
Serena-
that, right?
Now we know she rolling.
You
now.
know that. That's that's the help the breed, man.
She lost her sister in the first
And then
tournament,
didn't he just say back in his whole days that he over here doing it? Boy, I tell you
Ah,
what.
Serena, man, that's a bad girl.
She bad. I think she gonna snap right back in the form and start back winning.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
what I
Keep it
think.
down.
Because
Winners win. and
because
that's
she's
just
so
true.
competitive. You know, so her sister.
How bad did
I don't remember the scores, but she lost to her sister in that.
I
that
think it
little
was pretty.
bitty tournament.
I think it was pretty convincing. Like they question.
Oh,
Maybe she came back too
okay.
soon.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
And that could be the case.
I'm sure it was.
Because, you know, when you have a baby, dude, I ain't had no baby, but
I'm trying to figure out how you.
Everybody say that.
hey, I got opinions about every damn thing.
That is-
So you
that
have
is
a baby. Hey man, we got Clayton Booker.
Baker.
Oh,
We got Clayton Baker in the house
Everybody name up in
from
there.
Missouri and City Chief. We're gonna you ready, Trey?
Don't
We're
worry
gonna
about
go to a commercial. We're gonna play one song and we're gonna come back with Clayton Baker.
Been off
It's okay. You done messed everybody.
What, hey, what I, hey, what I did do was pick.
I forgot his name. Am I lying?
And it's the same thing with my mama when she had 4 kids. Hey, what? Yeah, you come
Yeah, that's
big
what
apple, you come
you know what?
you know what? Who gave you my name?
You be like, you know who the hell I'm talking to, Brady?
Hey, I think that,
Come on over here.
I think that's every mama. Hey Jay, hey, you know which one? No, it's like 4 of us in here. We going.
Make sure you sign a wall somewhere for the league. I be forgetting that.
What y'all want me to cover?
Oh, we gonna ask you questions. We'll go back. I'm really just gonna ask you about the life.
Trust me, we'll come up with questions. You may not want to hear them. Never know what we gonna ask.
The only thing I don't talk about is my parents. I always try to keep them quiet. Everything else is open board. He has me every board. I just try to keep them out of it. It's been safe for me doing it like that.
What I tell my wife this shit? My wife be like, you didn't bring me up on the show tonight. No, I'm just kidding. We right here. Hey, baby,
around about 5 years ago. I was on a talk show on radio and messed around and brought my wife into it. Well, I got an earful of that when I got home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's like, no. She's like, you know, like,
Oh, she didn't want you to do it.
she told me that when I left. Tell me, I'm stay quiet with it. When I was there, Mark Schottenheimer was the head coach.
He played for the
Kurt Schottenheimer, his brother, was my position coach. See, at that time, Jerome Jackson and Reggie Tone, that was their second year in the league. You know, and then the 2 corners were Dale Carter and James Hasty. Because that was Marcus Allen's last year when he retired that year after the year, and then Grant Hill. No, he said his name wrong. Greg Hill. Yeah, for Carter. Yeah, that was his first year as a full-time starter. So they had Elvis
Stan had just left. Stan ended up going to New Orleans.
Yeah, Elvis. That's when they brought in Elvis Gerbach. I mean, my only advantage going to the Chiefs was
You just met him?
Yeah, that's what I went out there for.
they ran a very similar defense to what I ran at Missouri. So I was already up on a lot of the terminology. Like my junior year, we put in blitz zones at Missouri. So what tape did we watch? Steelers. You know, and then my rookie season was the first year that the Chiefs put in the blitz zones. Which tape do you think they watched? They watched the Steelers. So I was already up on the terminology. You know, to where that's what kept me around even making the team. It's just, you know, when you first get to that level, you gotta start understanding the terminology because all the coverages are the same. Cover 2, cover 4, cover 3, cover 0, all that's the same. But it's the terminology when they start going in motions, they started, you know, evolving and changing the defenses. And since I was already up on the terminology, I could help out a lot of people there. So that's what allowed me to just have an opportunity because I was in draft. And the part about it was 30 minutes,
And we got 20 seconds for it.
30 minutes later, I get a call from Marty Schottenheimer wanting me to sign with the Chiefs. And I thought he was joking. Because I couldn't believe Marty Schottenheimer called me. So Marty was calling me and I was like, what's this again? I was like, yeah, right. I tell you what, if I find out where you live, I'll come to your house and feed you.
That's 5 seconds. What's up? Welcome back. Welcome, Matt. I mean, welcome. Not welcome, Matt. Welcome back.
That hutch, boy. I tell you, that hutch, boy.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, before I get started on the next segment, hey, we got Joe Donaldson coming in as a guest host Wednesday. Yeah, he's a Hutch grad.
Whoa.
Man, who is Joe Donuts?
Hey, Joe Donaldson is a bad boy, man. He's the head coach at Nimitz High School right now. Irvin Nimitz.
Nimitz.
Irvin
Yeah,
Nimitz?
yeah. They don't have no title, but he's a hell of a
He
coach.
get that.
And he was a and high school. And he was a bad basketball player. So we'll have him in the building talking sports with him. Hey man, the This and That Sports Access Show on Iron Royalty Radio. You can follow us on Facebook at This and That Sports Access Show. I forgot to say, go to our YouTube page and look up This and That Sports Access. Hit that, man. Subscribe to our channel. Hey, you ain't gonna just see us in here on our YouTube channel. We got some other stuff gonna be on there too. Some stuff that some of you dudes might like. I don't know. But Instagram at This and That Sports. You can follow us on Twitter at This and That SA. Also, if you want to call, I don't know why people not calling.
They scared.
97591-8636. Okay, and we got. Go ahead.
Clayton Baker.
Baker?
I'm good. How's everybody doing tonight?
We good.
We good, sir. We good. Welcome.
So, I mean, Coach Baker, I'm gonna just call you Coach Baker.
True freshman?
True freshman. I told you, Coach Baker.
And I was 150 pounds.
150.
You now?
205.
Okay.
Yeah, he 150
You look
pounds.
like he from Chippendale.
205 a muscle.
Hey,
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 you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Hey, no, he bounced at one of the top clubs.
hey, so Coach Baker, man, what were kind of some of the ups and downs and some of the, as going in as a true freshman, what were some of the things that you had to deal with as far as just, playing, especially D1 ball? Was that the Big 12? It was Big 12 when you was there. What was
Big 8.
Big 8? Okay. So in the Big 8, what was some of the competition-wise as far as going in as a true freshman? What was your thought process?
Well, coming out of high school, I had got offered about 10 different scholarships. And so I knew I was going to go to college at the Division I level and play, but I didn't think that once I got to college that I would end up playing and being a starter as a true freshman. I was 5'9", 150 pounds. I thought at the beginning I would eventually become a starter, maybe my junior year. But as fate had it, only thing I can tell you is my body and my ability all caught up with each other once I got to college. At that time, you had 2 weeks of tour days, and I started out at 6th on the depth chart as a true freshman. And at the second week, I was getting rotated with the first team. And then when we opened up against Illinois, Coach told me the week before that I was going to be the starting corner. So everything came really fast. Wasn't expecting any of this. And at first, it was real tough just with the attention that you get when you first get to college, from not only from the student body, but from females, then also the struggle of trying to prove yourself with the upperclassmen. So I would say that was probably one of my biggest struggles at first, was knowing how to deal with all of the attention and put everything in its perspective.
Yeah, because I was about to say, with you being a freshman coming in, again, Division I football, coming in and starting over juniors, seniors, sophomores have been there that's been trying to do the same. Like, how was respect very hard to earn that way, or what? Like, how was that when you were out there? Did they respect you for that, or was it some, oh, he shouldn't be doing this and this, that, and the other? How was that experience for that?
Well, I think respect is something that had to be earned, and it was earned by how I played on the football field. Respect was never something that was going to be given to me, and I understood that the minute that I stepped on campus. So all I did was, when I first got there, was keep my mouth shut, absorb everything that I possibly could, and then go out there and play on the football field to the best of my ability.
So what made you pick Mizzou?
I honestly picked Mizzou because, first of all, I thought that I could come in and play early. I had got scholarship offers from Texas, Texas A&M. I went on a visit to A&M, and you have to understand something. At A&M at that time, they had Ray Mickens, who ended up being a first-round draft pick, Aaron Glenn, who ended up being a first round draft pick, and those guys were backups. Okay, so I said, okay, well, maybe not A&M is not the place for me. I went all the way out to Oregon, loved it, but the closest they was going to play to my family was going to be in Arizona. Okay. So I said, okay, not really that. And then the funniest thing about it was I was getting recruited by K-State. Now, what's interesting about K-State was, do you know who the defensive back was? The defensive back coach at K-State was at that time?
No.
Bob Stoops.
Really?
Oh, wow. Really?
And Bob Stoops and I really liked each other a lot. But K-State at that time had been to a bowl game in like 30-something years. But the reason why I really considered K-State was there was this guy who was the assistant athletic director named Eric Harper. Now, that name may not ring a bell to a lot of people, but in 1984, at Denison High School, he was our first black quarterback that took us to our first state championship in football. And he was from my neighborhood. So that was somebody that I idolized growing up. So when he gave me a phone call, then I started to take K-State even more serious. But then at the same time, there was this one coach named Larry Hofer who was at Missouri, and he'd been calling me since I was a junior. Now, the way I looked at Missouri was, I said, well, that looks like a basketball school. Okay. So I don't really think that I really want to go to Missouri. And then, you know, as fate have it, there was ended up being 5 guys that I played high school football with from my same high school. We all went up to Missouri. Okay. From a background where the guys that were before us on what in order to get these scholarships. So all we did was just follow the blueprint that had already been set for us.
Okay. That's interesting. So Bob Stoops was at K-State when during your recruit time for you. Okay, that's real interesting. So being at Mizzou, you know, football, but at the same time, we always want to talk as far as what you study. What you study?
I got my degree in English.
English? Okay.
Yeah, because the way I looked at it was this. First of all, another reason why I chose Missouri was that I didn't choose Missouri knowing ahead of time that I was going to have a professional football career. Okay, I chose Missouri because first of all, it was a good academic school, right? And then I always wanted to, and at that time, their school of education was ranked number 3 in the nation. Yeah. Now, how many male black English teachers do you know of? None. So I figured, hey, I'm going to have a job. Right. So all I have to do is get this degree, and I'm going to get a job.
I know one. Who? Tyrone Maxson. Tyree's dad.
Oh,
he's
okay.
People don't know that. Shout out, Big Tyrone.
So, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and transition to the NFL part of it because you brought it up as far as you didn't know as far as a professional career. Senior year, you know, what was your overall? How was your stats your senior year in college? Were they good enough to get to the NFL, or was it just your overall body of work, or what do you think really got you to that next level?
I really think it was my junior year. My junior year, 4 months, I was in the top 5 country with interceptions. That told me that they liked about me was that every receiver that I had covered in the Big 8 was on an NFL roster or their highlight reel. And that's what got them more curious about me because they wanted to try to figure out why. Because when you look at my height and my size, you would think that they would that became my biggest advantage. And so then, so my junior year, I really debated on if I should just come out or not. But then I realized that after talking with my parents, I was a first generation college kid. And then I had 2 younger brothers. And I wanted to be an example for them because I figured that, you know what, if I'm good enough my junior year, I'll be good enough my senior year. So I definitely came back, you know, and my stats wasn't that great because they really just didn't throw the ball my way.
Right. Okay. Well,
in this day and time, when they don't throw your ball, I don't know back then, but if they don't throw your ball this day, throw the ball your way this day and time, it seems like they get bigger contracts. Because they be like, oh, they don't want to throw it this guy. That's what they do now. I don't know back. When were you in college?
93 through 97.
Oh, okay. You're a young fella.
Yeah, with Kansas City, how long were you there with Kansas City?
Just a year.
Okay.
Just a year.
What was that like, man, playing for the Chiefs?
Well, I tell you what, first of all, it's a first-class organization, number one. Okay. And you don't have to ask or worry about anything because they got so many people that want to take care of you. Fan base is crazy because they just love you so much, and it really helped me out because I had played football at the University of Missouri, so it was just right up the road for me.
Right.
You know, but you know, I ended up playing in the blue-gray all-star football game. We stayed right there is what set the tone for me because that was the game that I ended up having 2 interceptions during that game. Should have had. I got 2, and then that's when I said, okay, maybe we should pay a lot more attention to this guy.
Did you drop the ball? Did you drop it?
Yeah, and guess what it was? They had pitched the ball to the running back. Quarterback went out for a pass. I read it, jumped in front of it, and dropped it.
Oh my goodness.
With nobody in front of me.
So
When I
that
tell
would've
you
been
my
big
heart dropped, oh yeah.
That was it.
That was the dude with the ball one from Poland.
Yeah, all right.
Hey,
Yeah, you know,
the blue-gray game, I remember the blue-gray.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
The blue-gray game, is it now what they consider the Senior Bowl?
Yeah.
No, they call it the
No, it was
East-West
that.
now.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, they call
Oh.
it East-West.
It's
Okay.
East-West now.
They had both
I didn't
that.
know that.
Huh?
They had the Shrine Bowl, whatever it was called.
East-West
Yeah,
Shrine.
East Shrine.
Oh, that's
And
the blue-gray.
Yeah.
No, they had both of
Oh, they used to have both of them?
So that wasn't.
So now the blue-gray is considered the
East-West, yes.
one.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I thought they consolidated to the senior.
That's what I was.
But they have that one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Senior Bowl is ran by NFL team. The East-West is still ran by college coaches.
That's like-
I mean,
Duncanville.
no. Shit. A
Broncos.
Broncos fan want to ask you a question.
That was, you came in the magic year. That's the year, that,
97,
yeah,
yes.
that was the first Super Bowl.
Yes.
With TD. So
Yes.
did you get a chance to,
Excuse
you
me.
get a chance to tap a TD or,
No.
or get, okay.
No, but I tell you what was interesting is that was the season opener.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was definitely, you know, a dream come true to actually be in that type of a position, you know, because like I told you before, I didn't choose University of Missouri knowing that I was going to have an NFL career. But one of the things that I tell young guys all the time, don't get caught up in the school. What you want to do is go to a school that you know that you can get and play early because all they want to, and if you good enough, they will find you because these scouting departments for the NFL are crazy. They're huge. They are the biggest part of the entire organization because they got scouts that they have out on the road 10 months out of the year. Wow. So they gonna find you if you're good enough because you see guys from schools you never even heard of. Like, what kind of school is that? Right. But that just goes to show these guys end up having 10-year careers, and you never even heard about these people.
Honestly, I had never heard of Troy until the Cowboys drafted DeMar.
But see, it's because the simple fact was I watched him when he was at Troy because Missouri played at Troy.
Oh, okay.
I was like, who is this guy?
But it's global. I coach AU basketball, and I've been saying forever. A lot of kids, and Paul know this, get caught up in I want to go to this and go to that. Anywhere, play to showcase your talent.
And I don't tell them, though, be thinking about the degree that you want to get and see how that ranks nationally.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing to get athletes to think about. Honestly, God, true. It really is to get an athlete to think the degree they want, what they want to do when they finish college. You know,
Especially
the talented ones. They're not gonna.
ones, 'cause
No matter how much you preach it to them, you know, you can say this, and this, and I love that commercial with the wide receiver from the 49ers when he
Jerry
talk
Rice.
about Jerry Rice when he talk about I don't like him, but when he talk about I'm a Cowboy fan. When he talk about it's only gonna be 1% of you guys do this, 2%. That those numbers are real, man.
Well, see, this is what I tell them. Think about it like this. At the Division I level, there are 9,000 players.
Right.
2, Division III, or any IA yet. NFL, there are 1,600. You do the math.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, I got a fun fact we gotta clear up right quick. We can't let this dude slide out the back door with that one. That was their like 3rd or 4th Super Bowl that they went to.
No, I said when we won it. That was the first
That was
one
the
that
first
we
one.
won.
I want to make
That's
sure we understand that.
That's why I said. That's why I said. No.
We
You gonna take me on my team. I'm a diehard. I'm not gonna
Yeah, we're trying to make sure you understand.
Right. That was the magic year because that's when we finally
when we're
won.
talking about this smoking.
That's when we finally won. So
you didn't say finally.
I said the magic year.
He said the magic year.
Yeah.
He said we finally
Well,
won.
that's what
There's a
they-
difference in how he said it this time.
When you
Well, go ahead.
when you lost
We don't let nobody make it on.
when you lost
Not on this show.
4 Super Bowls and you finally win, that's magic.
Buffalo still ain't won one.
They still ain't won one.
Yeah.
But that year, so y'all, the opener was with
Top
Kansas
nine?
City, and Denver won. But later in the year, y'all beat us, and it was a close game. So things that I wonder, the teams that played the eventual Super Bowl winners, when you played them, did you ever at one point think, these guys got it, like they can win this year? Especially due to the fact that they beat y'all early in the year, but y'all ended up beating them right before the playoffs started.
Yeah, I think that, you know, as far as that goes, it's a lot of ebb and flow in that. Is that you don't really put a lot of stock in that first game. Because when you start getting into the meat of your schedule, that's when everything comes together and you really see what you're made of. Just 2 or 3 games, because you're still just and getting everything together. But when you get into that 5th game, 9th, 10th game, 11th game, you pretty much already know what y'all are going to look like, because that's exactly what you're going to play like when you come to the playoffs.
Wow.
Let me ask you. You did that 1 year. When you got that 1 year, were the expectations that you set for yourself, I'm gonna make this last forever. And when it didn't happen, what was that like, man? Talk to me about what am I gonna do? I mean, what did you ponder when you were told, hey man, we gotta let you go?
Yeah, well,
Give me what that's
the
like.
funniest thing is I got that goal because of having a bad heart. I got that goal for health situations.
Okay.
I couldn't pass the physical at the end of the year. So that's when they had flew me out, because I was sitting in a meeting and just passed out. Next thing I know, they're flying me out to LA, and then that's when I get told that I have cardiomyopathy, and they said, you're done. But I ended up going up to Canada the next year, 98, with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and went up there just for a year, and that was a lot of fun, but it was such a big transition because of the width of the field, the length of the field, just
Was Bobby Hebert the
3
quarterback then?
downs, no, zones, and just how the whole point system working. I just didn't feel comfortable playing it like that.
Yeah.
So then, after that, I went down to Houston and played ring ball.
Okay.
For then, they were called the Houston Thunder Bears.
Yeah.
Well, they got bought out by Jerry Jones and got brought up here to Dallas and became the Dallas Desperados. Team down in Houston,
Yeah.
because the quarterback that they had down there was Clint Dozell. That was my same quarterback.
Oh wow.
You see, so Clint and I go back, way back.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
so and then I end up having a lot of injuries, just getting, your body's like up in Ohio.
Yeah.
Now, the year before I got there, the secondary was ranked last in the conference and the lower echelon national.
Okay.
They spent one spring, one summer with me. Now, mind you, I had a 5'6" and a 5'8" corner, and the coach brought me in to teach them how to play man-to-man. That year, where we had 22 picks in 11 games, right? And we ended up having our first winning season there. So I had, like I said, a 5'6" and a 5'8" corner, and we went straight man-to-man the whole game.
Yeah.
So I knew then that I said, okay, well, my gift is I loved it so much. I loved going on the road recruiting. I loved going to house, because you can tell me no all day long over the phone. Hey, I'm gonna come by your house.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna impress your parents so much to where, guess what? You can end up coming to see me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we end up going there.
No doubt.
Now, what's interesting, you've heard that the quarterback was at Missouri during the days when
Yeah, Brad Schmidt
Okay.
played for the Reds.
Now, coming out of high school, he wasn't highly recruited. Our coach called me and said, well, hey, coach, we got this guy we think can really play for you guys. What do you think? So I go take a look at him. I watched 2 series. I said, yeah, we won.
Yeah.
Okay. So he came on a visit, loved it, was about to commit. The next week, your head coaching job at Missouri, because Pinko was at Toledo.
Okay.
You see? And so Pinko made him an offer until he got to Missouri. He offered him a full scholarship in Missouri.
Yeah.
So at the time, Brad didn't know that I had played ball in.
That when Coach Baker introduced himself when we first started playing with the Warhawks, it was a blessing to me because of the fact that, you know, don't see eye to eye, just height and just in general. So for DB, you know, to come talk to me and just tell me some of the things that Coach Baker did tell me, it was very, but not only was it for football though. I will say Coach Baker did a lot of things off the field as far as just personal growth. But I don't think I ever told him that. Recently changed me a lot, just as a man. Growing up, we've had a couple of talks, you know, just outside. He was just saying, at the end of the day, to, you know, be yourself and know what you're doing, and at the same time, just trust all the instincts that you're getting. That was the one thing, when he says he plays man, like one-on-one with the Warhawks. I don't think we ran zone not one time. Like,
is he a motivator or is he an X and O guy?
he's both.
Oh,
He's both.
wow.
And but as I feel like he's a more, by knowing him, he's a very motivational person. He's gotten me to do things playing football that not many coaches have done. I remember that one time we was in Weatherford and we played the Bullets. And it was, hey, what's going on? Why are we, like, it just, nothing was going right. So Coach Baker was calling stuff and I kind of just looked down like, hey, stop, leave us alone, play. Because that was what he would do, was let us play. Information, but he would let us play. But I felt like because of the fact that we wasn't playing the way he.
Well, you know, in your opinion, that you feel is the best.
Well, I love. I also like Sherman. I think my most favorite is that corner with the Vikings.
Xavier Rose.
Oh yeah.
That boy mad.
First of all,
Mad.
he's a big boy.
Mhm.
Tell that his foot is very high,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that I get disappointed in when I'm watching football today. Is because I feel like guys rely on ability and not how to think the game through. Because if you keep getting beat on the same route, change up the way that you play it.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. I don't understand, and the receiver running by you. Let me tell you what it is. That's not being fundamentally sound, because one play in the quarterback ago was this. If I can see you looking at me, I can throw it over your head every single time.
What about that guy? And we gotta go. What about that guy 43? Was this Satan?
Oh my man.
What do you think about that play when he was trying to make the tackle and keep the guy in bounds when he should have just been trying to make the tackle? What do you think? What do you think happened in his mind? Because he had a hell of a year. But what do you think about what happened in his mind in one of the biggest plays of the year?
Well, I think it's more systematic to how the game is being played now, because everybody wants to get their big hit and be on ESPN. I think that the fact that all he had to do was let the guy catch the ball and tackle him. But you see, he came in hard and fast with his head down. He wasn't paying any attention to where the ball was because he was looking for that big hit. And I just think that he just wasn't being sound. And, you know, the fact that this guy came from Ohio State, which you know that he has some good coaching coming into the NFL. And to make a bonehead play like that was just disappointing, because that's just not how the game should be played.
So you don't think it was the radio that said, don't make this tackle? You gotta.
Yeah, I'm saying Paul Guru believes
Paul believes
NFL is
it's
rigged. He
rigged.
said it's a step away from
How you
WWE wrestling.
How you feel when you hear somebody say that?
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta.
What sport did you play?
Hey man, we got to invite Coach Baker back.
I want to hear this answer. Let's get this answer. Can we get it?
Do I feel that is rigged?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't feel that it's rigged. Here's what I think that goes on. It just looks rigged because there's so much sloppy play. And you just say to yourself, you cannot be making that amount of money and play that bad at the because you got to understand how the NFL works. Marty Schottenheimer told me as my rookie season this: the 53 guys who make this roster are not our 53 best athletes. The amount of money that your agent gets you determines on who makes that team or not. If your agent gets you a lot.
I sent you a message.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, hey, everybody your coach. Since he didn't do you like you probably should have.
Hey, he treated me just like everybody else, man.
Yeah, man, he's taller than you.
Hey, serve the wall, coach.
Okay.
He said you got your flash.
He treated me just like everybody else. I just kept hustling. That's all I did.
Where you want me? You come right here. All right. About time we got some depth. I'm tired of being all the one that Mr. Mike, appreciate you, brother.
What's up, Nish? We got first in the house.
Yeah. That's one thing I used to tell Jan.
Go ahead.
Jan.
I'll come check some of the games out.
Okay, 2 minutes.
Hey, you remember on my AU team, I always had one white guy.
My dad.
Like running on the court when like we play him. Stay back,
Hey, no.
Good call.
Listen,
No, I'm saying for you.
I got one in Japan. We're still good friend. He like 6'10" though. His wife live in Japan. I always kept a white guy. You gotta keep, cause it's for the refs, man. You gotta keep them guys in there. Look, I got one too, man. You can't be doing that shit.
I wasn't looking at it like that.
Look,
I just said we need to have some diversity. Yeah, my thing is, I don't like looking hood all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And especially when you need some sponsors.
Hey, you know he's not the good. Look at the time. He good.
You didn't know what kind of show you on. Hey, man.
I met you guys at the Dallas International Film Festival.
Okay.
You have my red card.
Okay.
So yeah, but I've never been to the
When was
studio.
this?
Last year.
Oh.
They just joined.
Yeah, that's the new show.
Hey, you finna get talk cuss out of it.
Man, we want to be on the red carpet.
Hey.
We red carpet material. Let me. My
Show
shit don't even up like that. I
I
can't
ain't
do
got
this.
no neck.
Hey, man. Ain't no woman ever asked me for no neck, so I'm good.
Man, get the hell.
Hey, you can use that.
All right.
Yeah.
It's already there.
I'm gonna write it down.
What's up, guys? We back. We have John Wildman.
Wild man.
Wild man.
Oh,
man.
shit.
That's
Okay,
what I say.
we got John Wildman in the building and David Allison in the building.
Diversity, people.
Yeah. Hey, man, first of all, you listen to Cincinnati Sports Access Show on I Am Royalty Radio. You can follow us on Cincinnati Sports Access. You can follow us on Facebook at Cincinnati Sports Access. You can follow us on Instagram at Cincinnati Sports. You can follow us on Twitter at Cincinnati SA. There we go. Hey, our call-in number is 972-591-8636. You guys can call in. We got a couple of new cats in the building. Some, what y'all call it? Diversity in the building.
Diversity in the building.
Y'all want to ask them why they in here? You can do that. I don't know. They comedians, man. So I don't know if y'all really want to follow with them.
I'm just here to talk NFL draft.
Right.
That'll work. We can do that.
Hey, it's sports talk. We can do that.
So now,
Ready.
hey, I want to know who's gonna be funnier, them or Coach Pat.
Hey,
Dun dun dun.
no. I'm leaving that up.
He ain't that
What's
funny.
his name?
You right.
Not
You
that
right.
kind of funny.
Yeah,
He's funny.
I am, man.
That level.
funny.
No,
Look,
David here is the comedian,
I know. Real.
and John is the business
Okay.
business guy,
You got the
and
time on this.
I am that damn funny. Okay.
Looking.
Yeah, I look funny too. Hey man, we got
Sound funny.
Trey with Analytical Corner in the building.
What to do?
In the building.
We got Paul, the Real Talk Guru.
Always gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Baby, and the guy you listen to telling knowledge about nothing,
You
Coach
did it
Pat.
again. You did it again,
I didn't do that at the beginning of the show.
didn't you? You did it again. You did it again, huh?
Hey man, we have a couple of special guests in the building. I have to say special because they don't look like they play sports. We got did y'all play sports? Hey, David. Don't let this big weight fool you, baby. I'm still
I got cowboy pants. We can go to town. Let's do it, Coach Pat.
Hey, they picked out the right one, guy. That's why he coaching. I was just glad he didn't come at me like that, man. I'm okay.
Oh, no.
My man.
Yeah, you're rocking that Under Armour shirt. I can
Yes, sir.
tell you,
Yeah.
you're athletic. You got this.
I started to wear my goddamn Under Armour warm-up pants.
You say
turn Hey, y'all gonna stop making
you
fun
put
of
your
me.
mama.
Dave said he has the breakaway pants ready.
Yeah, I'm
Me
ready.
too, me
I'm
too.
ready to
Whoa,
roll.
hold on, man. Y'all not finna put me down on my show. No,
No, I'll put you down on your court.
Yeah.
Oh!
Hey,
What a bang at, man.
Hey,
Come on, man. I ain't do this.
I'm not ready for it.
Hey,
I'm not ready.
Snap them up, snap them off.
But
Get ready.
I also have to let's back up.
David is ready. You gotta be ready.
Let's back up just a little bit.
Back it up, right?
Because when John said that he played point guard, I noticed Coach Pat went straight to David.
No, I did that because he said he's a little.
Oh, okay.
A little guy like this here, 5'2". Oh, no.
You 5'3".
Tom Cruise here? Jesus. 5'2"?
I told you,
You kind of
John.
like Tom Cruise.
5'8".
man. Hold on.
John, you,
So
hey,
he's taller than
we
you.
don't, he is
taller
not
than
no
you.
5'8".
Stand
Up, stand up, stand up.
Stand up.
Uh-oh.
Take that out.
Take it down.
You know you got it, man. We gotta do like this.
Sustain. Sustain.
We going to commercial.
Hey,
He is not 5'8".
hey, and he's built like Mark Price. So,
He got it.
you
He
know
got a
Mark
nice.
Price was a bad boy.
I think you
So.
would have shot him out the gym, coach. I think you would have shot you out the gym, coach.
Hey, honestly, while y'all cracking out
When
your
the
damn
hunt,
jokes,
they don't do that.
everybody want to be David Allison and crack jokes and shit. I am a hell of a well, I used to be a hell of a basketball player. So,
When the
and trust me,
They didn't
John
believe me.
Wildman wouldn't even make my bag. I was like,
Oh.
You're a little dude, man. Little dudes couldn't guard me.
Okay.
Even his height. I used to.
Again with this little.
Yeah, because I used to guard Thomas Hill and Byron Brown. They was 6'3" and 6'4", and they couldn't do nothing
Larry
with me.
Johnson and all them.
No, he didn't go that high.
No, I was sitting. Hey, I was sitting in the stand watching Larry Johnson. Oh my God.
Okay, so we got the Dallas Comedy Festival coming up.
Yep.
And John is PR, right?
Yeah, I'm the publicist for it, and the Dallas Comedy Festival, it starts on Wednesday, goes Wednesday through Sunday at the Dallas Comedy House in Deep Ellum. And what I discovered, last year was the first time I did this festival, and what I discovered is that we got the mecca of comedy here in Dallas.
Yes, yes.
I mean, David over here is in 3 different groups himself, and we've got like amazing comics, we've got sketch groups, we've got improv troops, we've got coming here to be our headliner.
Okay.
This group 3P, which is an amazing improv troupe from Chicago, coming to be our group headliner. David can talk about his teams because they're all very, very different. But honestly, whatever you're into, if you're like stand-up comedy, they got it. People just making up stuff on the fly in your mind, they got it. You got sketch stuff that'll just take you back to the 90s and crazy stuff from that, they've got that. It's amazing. From Wednesday through Sunday, check in for a night and not leave till the end of the night, and you'll be doing nothing but laughing the entire time.
Okay.
It's on you.
There you go.
If it's on you.
Bro,
Last time you saw a comedy show.
He see one every time he look in the mirror.
Boom!
When's the last time you saw a live comedy show?
Man, I'm trying to think. I
See,
went
that's
to the
the wrong
improv.
answer.
I went to somebody.
Will
Well, on TV or in live?
he said live.
Oh, live. TV is
Live,
way
live.
to the live.
I
Yeah.
love.
You gotta have that.
The last
energy in
person I
room.
went to see was the fat dude that's skinny now.
Lavelle Crawford.
Lavelle Crawford.
Oh,
When he
yeah,
came
yeah,
to
yeah.
Dallas, yeah.
Lavelle Crawford skinny now?
Boy,
You didn't see him?
Nah.
he looks sick.
It's actually
Man, got him, man.
He can't. Those
Look
suits
too
he was
far.
wearing, he can't wear them down.
Oh,
He's
man.
got
Yeah.
he's got that money
Yeah.
that take care of himself.
If you see him now, you look at the TV like that
Dang.
dude sound like. He can figure it out.
Oh, nah.
But yeah, you got to check out live comedy because there's such whenever the people are creating on stage, the audience is enjoying it together. It's so much funnier if you're in the room than just like watching on your TV at home. You're checking your phone, checking Twitter, checking Instagram.
Like his whole, like that's his
Oh
shit,
yeah,
right?
like
Not Jim Carrey. He talking
I
about
mean,
Drew
well,
Carey.
no, Jim
Drew,
Carrey, but Jim
Yeah,
Carrey,
that's
like
right.
Jim for Living Color and stuff, and he has a
Yeah.
background of stand-up and character pieces and stuff like that. Like there's a ton of people.
I heard you say sketch. What the hell is sketch?
So, like Saturday Night
I'm on the
Live
phone.
would be an
Yeah.
example of sketch
Oh,
comedy.
okay.
That's where a
In
group
Living
gets
Color.
together. Yeah, in Living Color,
Okay.
a group gets together and writes a show that they're passionate about.
Okay.
So they take these sketches that are inspired by real life, and then they make it funny.
Kind of like your play.
There, you wrote a play.
Yeah.
Yeah, he writes plays all the time.
I'm a playwright.
I love it. I wrote a musical last year.
So I'm really into improv, but
Nice.
I can do improv with other actors,
Uh-huh.
but I get intimidated when I'm with comics
I see
because
what you mean.
I think
Oh.
comics have like it's natural
Yeah.
for you guys to come up right on the spot. Where with actors, a lot of times we're trained to learn a script, and so with improv, once you master improv or you get good at improv as an actor, then it takes you to another level.
Yeah.
So that's why you hadn't put me in a play because you. And what did you just say?
Intimidated.
You intimidated by
Yeah.
Coach Pat?
Never.
Tell the truth.
Man, let me in the play,
Hey,
man.
really, you're not tall enough.
Right.
It's a hybrid one.
Right.
You
gotta ride this ride.
Haven't done any short plays
Six
yet.
Flags. Kind of like
So we don't
riding
have any
Six
short
Flags,
roles
man.
for you.
You can't get on. Yeah. Short roles. I like that. Yeah.
No,
I like
short stories.
But I totally get the intimidation thing you're talking about. That's why I honestly don't do a lot of stand-up. For them to be able to be alone on stage, just sharing their point of view and making it consistently funny, line after line after line, that's intimidating for me. The cool thing about improv for me is that you don't have to like force jokes. You don't have to force it to be funny.
That's what I like.
Because you just discover funny stuff that happens.
Right.
You have no idea what the show is going to be until you're on stage.
Right.
And then you take that inspiration from the audience, look around at your team partner, say like, all right, what are we going to do? And then you just go for it.
Right.
And so it takes away a lot of that intimidation from me that we're going to discover it way more than like we would have to plan it or come up with those expectations. It's just people up there having fun, man.
And that's how I'm funny. I just take stuff.
Yeah.
I see what the crowd needs, and I just give it to
that.
them.
Moving on.
I don't.
How
You're a comedian
does he find a way to put himself in
Hey,
that
tell me
again?
something.
I love
right
it, I
quick,
love it.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah, what's up?
We talking about intimidation.
Uh-huh.
You ever performed in front of an all-black crowd? Let's be real.
An all-black crowd?
All-black.
Maybe
Not
one
an
spot.
all. I
You don't
can't
make
say I
money in
haven't-
front of all black crowd.
Well, I know
No,
that,
that's
but I'm
not
just
true.
trying to-
That's not true.
Coming from him is true, probably.
But that's the cool thing about improv is that you take a suggestion from the audience, and then a lot of it is following what the crowd wants, what their energy is, what they want us to follow. And if you guys are laughing at something as an audience, then I am going to lean into that and make you the best show I possibly can for
Okay,
everybody.
okay.
So it depends audience to audience on the show. So
Okay,
it's going to be completely different.
okay.
What's your in improv? There's a lot of activities that you do.
Yeah.
What's your favorite improv activity?
My favorite improv activity. So you're talking about like warm ups and like
Yeah.
drills and exercise. and stuff, doing improv is like tell a story, to like take just a title of something from an audience and then spontaneously create a narrative that like makes sense and people can follow and is engaging for 25 minutes or an hour. Like every single year, I'm lucky to be part of the show called the Improvised Horror Movie. And each October we do this, and we take a title of a horror movie that has never been made before, in an hour on the spot. And it's such a fun thing to be part of. You just discover in the moment. I never thought that person blank was the killer, but now they are, and it's amazing, and it's so much better than I could have ever scripted because we all discovered it in the room. By we all, I mean us in the audience, everybody.
How long have you been doing this?
I started in high school. I was lucky to start in high school, so I started in 2003.
Wait a minute, what do you mean you started? What did you do in high school? What did you talk to? I don't know if stage or whatever. You're trying to figure out, damn, where did this come from? You know what I'm saying? What makes you turn that corner to say, shit, this is what I'm going to do?
It's the people, because you just start hanging out with who are doing something with. Okay. So hanging out as a playwright, you probably hang out with a lot of actors. Hanging out as an improviser, I hang out with a lot of other improvisers. You just groups creatively, and you see where your people are.
Okay.
And for me, I just love hanging out at the bar with other improvisers, doing bits back and forth. It's just a blast. Okay. So you just find your tribe.
Okay.
And
so I need to find me some hangout partners because nobody gets me.
Well, look, the majority of us get each other, so you might want to.
Somebody else is the outlier.
You might want to get out of there.
So John, how do you find the talent? Do you go looking for it, or you just?
Well, I don't go find the talent. I just basically brag about the talent to you guys. Just you'll go and see the show.
You're the hype man.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we got Flavor Flav in the building.
but what I'm saying, but what they do, and what is great about this is like just like David said about the horror movie concept. They have a group called Standby Sheet, and this group into and get back and forth with the audience, training that
you won't even know anybody.
Yeah.
You can't hear him anyway. His voice so small.
And the thing about it, I don't even care if you hear me or not. I mean, I just like to talk.
you should care.
Clear.
Dilly. We all can agree to that. Dilly.
Trust me, I've been
The groups.
Yeah. So I'm in a couple of different ones. The two improv teams I'm in, like I already mentioned that a little bit, but I'm also in a sketch team that's performing at the festival. We do a sketch show, like a written comedy show, that was inspired by the 1990s. Just as a general decade, we did 2 hour-long shows that were completely different last year, and we're doing a 30-minute best of this Friday.
Give me a brief synopsis of what these sketches.
Yeah, so like one of them, like I grew up, I loved SportsCenter growing up. I would watch like the same dang episode of SportsCenter like 4 times
You
in
actually
a row.
look like one of them.
Looped
One of the angels.
No, the one, no,
he do. He
the
does.
glasses were
Yeah.
all headed.
No,
That's Van Pelt. Nah, he don't look like Van Pelt.
Honestly, it's a
You
compliment to
talking
be
Mike,
compared to
Mike
any.
and Mike. Who you talking about?
Nah.
But
He
yeah,
look
like,
more like Mike and Mike than
he does
do.
look like Mike Greenberg.
He does.
Yeah.
He look like
Greeny.
a
Like
little
Greeny.
Greeny, man. I just
Greeny.
He actually looked like, was it Tom Cruise that was in that movie, Show Me the Money?
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah,
That's
Jerry
what the
Yeah.
hell he
I
looked
see
like.
that
I said
too,
earlier,
yeah.
you look like Tom Cruise.
But yeah, so this is, so I loved SportsCenter growing up. I thought it was just the best show in the world. So I wrote a sketch that basically said, what would it be like if all of anchors thought that the sports kids movies of the 90s were real?
Okay.
And so it's like Chris Berman reporting on highlights of Air Bud, Chris Berman reporting on highlights of like Space Jam and Angels in the Outfield. Like just taking stuff like that I remember from childhood. Like I loved those movies. I loved SportsCenter and bringing those things.
Texting you, Pop.
First of all, my mama ain't text you, boy.
Whoa. That's right. Hey, time the Simpsons tomorrow. Hey, time the Simpsons tomorrow, not tonight. Chill out.
It's right.
David, it's funny that you said as far as on the voices, because I try to do voice impersonations.
Yeah.
And the listeners end up calling in and saying, yeah, why do your Shaq, your Tiger Woods, and
Oh, sound
All of
the
them
same.
sound the same.
You sound like the same dude.
I was like, I'm an actor. I use my imagination. In my head, I sound like them. So you have to make me sound like them in your head.
And that's the cool thing about improv too, is that like we're all making it up on the spot. So the audience knows that like they're not always going to be prepared as performers to bring out the best French accent in the world.
Right.
But if you put me on the spot, on stage, in front of an audience, I'm going to do my best to do a French accent, and I'm going to commit to it hard, because what doesn't matter, what matters is what my French accent in that moment sounds like, not like a pitch-perfect impression.
Hey, if they laugh, that's what matters.
Right.
Absolutely. We just want people to have a good time. We just want people to have a good time. It's like a 13-year journey. Good for you. Good for you.
That's how you was.
Absolutely. Like, when in something and you get to do what you love.
Well, no.
Probably so.
Put it and when you in, take your funny ass.
When Kevin Hart was saying them jokes in the 90s, it's not like that.
Time, you did something that's very what you got going on, right?
Right. I'm lucky. I'm at the theater of Dallas Comedy House. So that year round. Year round. To perform, to write things, and like, and what's set other people to use their little bit of time have a week working a part-time job to get as good of an opportunity as they can. Be it as improv, sketch, whatever.
What else is y'all doing the comedy festival?
So we're doing, yeah, the Dallas Comedy Festival is put up by the Dallas Comedy House and such. So it's just in Dallas, it's just local. But we have talent from all over the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's about 90 different acts that are coming in. Some from Austin and Houston, like we were talking
San
about
Francisco,
earlier.
Canada.
Yep, Vancouver, New York,
South
LA,
Carolina,
Chicago.
And
And
you travel?
yeah, I've gone to some different areas for shows and for festivals myself. But honestly, that's just for fun. That's just like, man, I love taking a trip with my friends that I get to perform with, and we get to do a show, and that's a bonus. But it's the coolest part is going to a different city and exploring it.
I can't believe this.
I've been with my wife for over 20-something years.
Congratulations.
And I like to say, I keep it funny a lot. And I can tell Pat has been with his wife for a long time. I know.
No,
And I didn't
31 years. I know it's
Look, I
31
know you keep
years
it funny
in
up
20
there,
seconds.
You know.
He's scared, right? He had to make
I
that
noticed you're married, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How long have you been married? What's that
I've
like?
been married for a little over 5 years.
Okay.
Congratulations.
But
How'd you meet her? Did you meet her doing the comedy?
I met her, actually the first time I ever did meet her was,
Whoa, hold on.
did meet her, sorry.
You did not just say that.
What?
I met her the first time I did
I
meet
know.
her. What the hell does that mean?
I'm just so intimidated
Yeah,
by
I
you.
know you. I know,
I met my wife the first time I did meet her.
You gonna correct somebody?
Radio listeners
Hey,
can't see
hold
Coach
on.
Pat is just intently
Hold on.
staring me down.
Pat is the last person to correct anybody when it comes to talking.
Cookies
You right.
melt in milk, right? I mean, it gets salty.
What?
Right?
Yes.
Cookie.
Where are we going?
Oh,
Yeah, he doesn't intimidate me right
So
now.
you don't need to be
I'm not
intimidated.
intimidated.
I don't know
When
what
you
to
get him
say.
on that card, man, that's gonna be he gonna.
Oh,
knock
I'm sure,
you.
I'm sure.
He
But
ain't
until
played since
then-
'67 anyway, so.
I wasn't born to Sydney, man.
I wasn't born.
Well,
either.
he
I
wasn't
met
born
my
to
wife.
probably
I
90.
met my wife at your auditions. So.
That's really?
Yeah, yeah.
so she tried
Oh,
out,
so
Yeah.
and you told her no?
And I what?
Did you
Hell
tell her
no.
no?
No. We both auditioned. We weren't
Oh,
judging
okay.
her.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna say, I
Oh,
thought you
no,
were like,
no.
you were checking her out and said,
No,
"Yeah,
no,
baby,
no.
you got the shot." Oh, that wasn't it?
No, we both auditioned for cast, and then that was it.
And he like, hey, they should.
So was
you
she
like,
funnier than you?
Absolutely, she's funnier than me. She's funnier than me, smarter than me, better looking than me. She's
You
a
didn't-
better
well,
person overall.
David, you didn't have to say she was better looking. We figured that out.
That's true. I can't be mad at the
That's
truth.
all I can.
But that's the beauty of doing
Also,
radio.
how have you seen my wife, Coach Pat?
Hey, she on my
That's the-
Facebook right now.
Why is she on your Trust her at school.
That's why Pat do radio and you do stage.
And that's why neither of us are going to do TV.
I always tell people, I'm on radio, but I have a face for TV. Just so we know.
You mean black and white TV? Or
I'm just saying,
Yeah, because that black and white picture you sent the other day, man.
I look good,
That's what I
though.
was cranking up on.
He said,
I look good.
You hear that? I look good.
So,
did.
Pat, let me ask you, who be
What?
telling you this stuff?
No Pat.
Self in the mirror.
That's the thing.
I don't think the mayor tell him that
His
either.
wife, his wife
No. To Pat.
Right, there you go. It's Coach
Right.
Pat in the pits.
That's all he cares. Like, that's why we say what we say.
No.
about him.
We are the Temptations.
That's not.
We carry him.
That's not.
actually, we're
You guys are the
gonna
pimps.
be the 5 heartbeats.
I'm kicked out the group.
That's,
Nobody give a damn about you, Otis. hey, sports show. So we got ass.
Oh, I love it.
Are you a Cowboys fan?
I'm
Curtain. No, hold on. So Steel Curtain was everything. And like, Lynn Swan was the best thing ever. And then San Francisco, Jerry Rice, because I was a wide
he
receiver
can't
guy.
stand Jerry Rice.
So that happened.
You wanna open this up?
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna go. We'll finish talking to David. Because I was a kid.
He had like Jerry Rice did something to him.
No, it was like Jerry Rice actually. Well, it was him
It
too.
was.
But it was Dwight Clark, man. I was, what is
Oh, the
79?
catch.
The cat.
The catch.
Yeah, the Cats. It was in the 80s, dude. I was young.
79. It was
No.
like 84.
79 was the
That's like
Steelers.
84.
79 was the Steelers. They beat us in the Super Bowl. Jay Smith dropped the ball. I remember that. I cried. That was the first time I cried.
Second.
But when Dwight Clark caught that ball, they put 49ers on the map, took Cowboys down, and I'm still pissed. So you gotta go.
Yeah, it sounds like John's a Fairweather fan right now. He just got
John, you gotta be like,
Just
hopped off, yeah.
John,
So
you gotta
who'd
be
you like in the
like,
90s?
now? What about
I was gonna
now?
say Patriots.
don't say
Don't do
He's a
that.
Patriot.
Don't do that.
No, not with the Patriots.
Who you down
Say
with?
Cowboys, man.
Who you
so,
down with, bro?
so I could be happy. You know what I'm saying?
Don't lie to him.
Just
Just
saying,
tell the truth.
listen, I'm the publicist. I just want you guys to go see the show.
Right,
so
right,
So I'm all about the Cowboys.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. You have
Go on
more
the
people
show.
go see the show.
Smart man.
Smart,
Smart man.
But
I
you know,
see what you did
John
there.
comes from an era that I told you guys about a while back. I said, where I come from, when I was giving you education, I said, there were only 2 teams back in the league, and Pat knows what
Steelers
to say.
and
It was the Steelers or the Cowboys.
Yep.
There was no 49ers, there were no Patriots, and I lived
There
in
wasn't no
Massachusetts.
team.
And there just wasn't another team than them 2 teams, unless you lived in those cities.
Right.
And so I don't know where you were at the time when you were Steeler fans, but that's where it was all at.
Yeah.
So
No, it absolutely was that. I mean,
so we need to know where you at now, though.
I just said.
He's a Cowboy fan.
You're a Cowboy fan. Now you didn't say it.
I'm agonizing with you guys going, is Des coming back or not?
How we say it? Stand up and put your chest out.
Say it with
Say it with your chest.
That's how Kevin Hart reference say it with your chest.
Say it with your
Because
chest.
Pat don't say nothing with his chest.
Hey, man.
I'm sorry. I'm done.
I
I'm
mean-
done. I'm done.
My man titties say a lot, bro.
Wow.
I got man, dude. Hey, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I go to. Hey, you can't tell.
So
You,
David, I know you're gonna let
Hey, V,
no
empty the
man
container.
say this bitch.
No,
you can't. You can't
Oh, no,
tell.
no.
I
I'm
work
sure
out
they'll
every
be
day.
saying bye when I go buy them and lay up.
Oh.
I'm not gonna dunk, obviously.
No, no.
Out of respect for you.
I'm gonna do a nice with left hand up,
Proper.
Form.
David, you
knee
would.
up,
Fundamentals.
form, just right in.
David, I
No,
promise
David.
you would eat that damn layup, man. You can't go
Eat it.
by me.
He
Yo,
will
I'm gonna
foul
throw
you,
that
David.
shit back in your face. I
He will
promise.
foul you.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, he gon-
This
he gon'
David
foul.
right here.
What's up?
You try to lay me up, I'm gonna throw it in your face, man. What the fuck?
But I'll have crossed you over, so you'll be recovering.
Oh!
You'll be calling for a nurse or a doctor to fix your broken ankle. I mean, that's how it'll be.
Oh, man.
You on that Powerade commercial,
Hey,
bro? About to fight dude, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
He said, if I had that
Hey,
Powerade when I was coming out,
Hey, he said he
I
got you.
just came up with a great improv that y'all can get together on.
I love
sketch
it.
comedy.
Okay.
Sketch, probably.
Pat.
Okay.
Remake. What was it?
White
Man
90s?
can't jump.
White Man Can't Jump.
I can do
The
it.
2 of you.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson.
Hey, cause my jump shot is so pretty. It's so pretty.
And I cannot jump.
Y'all want to know? You know what was funny about all
Perfect
that?
shot.
Woody really could hoop.
could.
He could.
Good ball, yeah.
Wesley good.
Wesley couldn't.
Nah.
They used to have to do a lot of takes or somebody else's shop.
Oh, the stand I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, Wesley Canoe?
Wesley couldn't.
Oh, he's a karate dude, so he
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know
You
he.
do karate, you can't do
Vampire.
like
While watching the movie though, you couldn't tell.
that don't.
No, they had to do a lot of cuts on his, but Woody stuff was pretty
Oh,
much
yeah,
Woody.
Woody.
I'm like,
See, you don't know
damn.
nothing about movies.
Okay.
I've done movies. You can't. It's all cut.
What movies have you
What was
done?
the, what's the, oh, you can't hear
You
Jimmy.
remember? You remember the movie?
In the
Baby?
movie, he kept, Woody was listening to Jimi Hendrix and, Wesley
can't hear me.
like, you can't hear Jimmy.
Yeah.
I can hear Jimmy.
No.
I can see the
You're
two of y'all
listening,
doing
you're not
that.
hearing.
No. AB the Kid just asked me, what movie have I done? You remember the movie? What was the movie? Not Boys in the Hood.
You need to get a PR.
I'm out, right.
Trey,
I am
you
him.
need to-
I was waiting for the cue, baby boy.
Yeah, you know the movie Baby Boy. I was in Baby Boy.
Oh,
You remember the scene where they was sitting on the porch?
Oh, okay, I'm glad you went there. I thought you
Yeah,
were
no.
I thought you were going to the kitchen.
No. I did that the other day. Want some breakfast? No. You remember the movie Baby? You seen the movie Baby Boy?
I have not.
You do look like
You
a
should
short
know,
man
baby boy.
range, bro.
You remember the scene where they sitting on the porch? I was in the house.
Oh,
So that's the
my
movie.
God.
Wow.
Oh,
All right.
So your claim
Wow.
to fame is that you're on the other side of a wall?
Right. That's the movie. I was in.
Exactly.
I didn't see you in that movie. I was on the other side of the
Yeah.
wall.
I was in the, no, they
He
was
said-
talking
he
on the
said-
book. I was in the
He
house.
do look
Because
like
you
a
what?
sawed-off Ben Range.
I think what really happened, he was in the
Ben
services tent. He was
Honestly-
getting the food.
Oh,
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
The caterer.
Yeah.
Hey,
So-
honestly, I just did that skit at the house. 'Cause my daughter, boyfriend lived with us. And
Get
he
him
said,
from
Pops,
lying.
you gotta stop coming out your room in your drawers. I was like, man, you want some breakfast? That's the Baby Boy reference. But I walk around in my drawers all the time because I don't care.
This and that didn't
Matter
know
of fact,
that.
it's my house.
We got that, but we didn't want to know
I
that.
tell jokes. Man, we got David in the building. He tell jokes.
Your
Can I
joke's
tell-
not funny. David's
Bro,
funny.
your wife is texting again saying, stop, bro.
Hey, I'm still tripping on the fact that she keep texting you and not her son.
Well, I
Why
think
she not texting her son?
Hey, man.
Because she know Trey ain't gonna say nothing to him.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
you notice Trey knew what movie I was talking about.
Trey trying to get the truck for this weekend. Bro.
Okay.
Well, we're excited about being a part of the comedy festival. We've worked with
Small
John
wheels.
for probably the last 5 years.
Yeah,
at
you guys
the,
have been coming to the Dallas International Film Festival.
Right.
So it's fun. This will be the first
So
one.
this will be the first time for us to do the comedy festival. So we're looking forward to that.
Man, I hope I get passes for this. I mean,
Really,
you know,
I
I
think
don't
that
know
was
if we
a
gonna
shot.
be
They're
privileged.
taking shots at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We getting passes? Press passes? Or we just passes? What we
No, somebody getting pressed. I don't. We the new guys on the block, man. So I don't think we.
Look, I just asked. I'm the kid that asked.
I think we would
just
know
asked.
when they hit Facebook and all that.
But
kind
see,
of
here's the
stuff.
deal, you guys. You can all have press passes, but you have to talk about the comedy festival every day
Right.
until this thing is over.
Right.
I don't
Like
think
every show has got to be about the comedy festival, and then I'll give you your passes.
Uh-oh.
All right, so
You know
basically,
what?
I'm a new permanent member.
So tomorrow,
I'm
I
on
mean,
the show
Wednesday,
full-time, and then
Wednesday we'll
Yeah.
talk about it. Hey, we'll talk about it on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Hey.
Wednesday when we be out there. No, Friday. We can talk comedy shit. What did you say? We talk comedy. we are comedy, man.
I love
Hey, my favorite comedian coming up. Hey, in high school, I used to get up and my teacher used to let me do this. Get up and do raw in front of the whole Eddie Murphy
Uh-huh.
raw
Are
in
you
front of the whole
serious?
class.
Your
In high
teacher
school,
used to let
yeah.
you do that?
I used to get up.
You
Give me
didn't
five.
care. Your teacher just didn't care.
I went
You
to
went outside to
Five.
smoke. I wanted to bring
No.
Do this
I went
again.
to cheesecake.
You went to Wilma Hutchins,
I
guys.
went to
They
Hutch.
folded a couple of times.
Matter
man.
of fact,
Oh, they did
no,
fold.
only once.
One time or 2 times? I thought they did
No,
it a
no,
couple times.
tornado
bro.
told
So you said folded, like folded
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like quick,
No, no,
They had to bust them somewhere else.
They could
like
look.
fold like a
Cut the
teen
lights
fold,
off,
just
everything.
Yeah.
No, one time was tornado told the
Raw.
school out. We
And
did
that
school.
explains a lot.
No.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, I used to get up and do raw. Honestly,
Okay,
the whole
so-
thing.
so let's do right now.
I just
Hey,
love
guys,
that
Say
dude.
divine
Yeah,
intervention.
So-
That
yeah,
time.
I
So let's
just,
do something up, do a little bit.
I just did.
Nah, do
I
do
just
something.
love that dude.
So-
Like I can't do
so
it.
John-
I'm just saying.
This is what.
Yeah.
This is why they're
Everybody
saying.
like,
When is the? Because I'm like, I don't want John to send me an email and say, hey, the guys you sent, they were harassing the comics saying, hey,
No.
let me come on stage with you.
That's all
Put me in this skit.
Look, Pat can't have no adult beverages if we go to the store.
No, we got a
Water.
great wall that Pat can stand on the other side.
Water. He's drinking.
I like that.
I see what
So don't worry about it. We kind of already talked about having them go somewhere else, and then we go to the place where it's supposed to be at.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You guys are gonna show up. Oh, the comedy festival's in the middle of a field. All right.
Don't check your address.
Just we're gonna have our own group me page.
Be like, Trey, make sure you drive him to the other spot, and then you come on
Driving him
to where we at.
Yeah.
I say that's what I'm doing.
The film festival, when we do the film festival, we've had new people over the years, and I'm like, okay, let me prep you. You may see some people that you know. You're gonna see some people you don't know.
Right.
Know what to ask. Do your research, but be ready. But in case you see somebody that you know, remember you are working. You cannot become the fan. So 2 years ago, Erykah Badu was on the red carpet.
Oh, Trey
and
can't show up.
My whole crew got nervous, and I was like, she's just a person, interviewer. Well, the history behind that was I used to dance with Erykah Badu. So when I saw her, she came in the door, we spoke, and I just moved back. Theater. Theater. Dance. Yes.
Did she have that wagon she dragged
Yes.
in?
Still.
Oh my
She's
God.
always been who she is.
Couldn't be.
Trust me.
Couldn't be.
So it was funny because I stepped away, they were interviewing, and I walked around, and somehow I came because I wanted to hear what they were asking her, and I came up and she pointed at me. And Allie and them turned and they were like, and she was like, and she said my real name. She didn't say Ty, she said my real name. And they were like,
We don't know it.
you know it?
What's her real name?
We don't
And they
know
all went,
You won't get it.
why haven't she been on the radio and everything? So
it.
that's
Okay, why
that's the funny
Erykah Badu know your real name and we don't know it? So we ain't going to the damn thing.
I know his real name. His
We
real
realize.
name's Tyson.
No.
Is it really?
no.
It's not Tyson.
Yeah, I really thought it was.
I was like, for real?
I just got back from the San Luis Obispo Film Festival, and our honoree this year was Pam Grier.
Oh my God.
And
Really?
and I used to be the publicist at Lincoln Center, New York, and we had Pam there, and I interviewed her on stage.
Couldn't have done
So
it.
she shows up to the film festival on my red carpet, and I'm the publicist, and she pulls me into a photo with her, and she goes, "We're old school. You known me for like 5 years now," and everybody's like looking, going, "How does he know Pam Grier?"
Maybe that is that guy from Jerry Maguire.
Hey, it might be.
That was him.
Tom Cruise.
John, did you just glance touching that ass up?
Dude, honestly, I would honestly, and I've been married, I've been
This
with
why
my
I'm
wife for
scared.
31 years. But I
This is why I'm
honestly would touch her
scared.
lower back.
No,
Just get nervous.
Move, man.
Don't use me for
Demonstration,
demonstration.
man.
Nah, don't demonstrate on me.
Hey, all right, so real talk right quick, man. One more for you right now. We just had a nut up moment from him talking about what he would do if he got up and started trying to say something. At that moment where you didn't know what to say or, in front of a crowd,
Good
what did
question.
you do to get out of that?
Well, so there are these moments whenever you're doing, especially a longer show, where you sometimes pause and think like, oh, I don't know if I'm as engaged in this scene. I'm not like latched into it.
Okay.
And just taking a moment and thinking how you feel about your scene partner,
Right.
not like personally,
Right,
but
right,
like
right.
their character is making me happy, making me sad, making me angry, or whatever.
Right.
I find that you get right back in it.
Okay.
So yeah, that does happen from time to time with certain people. But the more experience you get, the easier it is to get right back into it and continue the scene, as opposed to just being like, I don't know what to do, and then like running off stage or whatever.
You can't do that.
Have you
Just gotta
had
focus
moments?
in.
Have you had moments where you guys were doing something and that laugh, that contagious laugh that you can't stop, and you're trying to keep going but you can't stop?
So like, you're saying as a performer, where
Yeah.
I start to laugh because they're doing some ridiculous stuff and
Yeah.
I just can't handle it
Right.
all the time.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of like performing with people that make you laugh.
Yeah.
Like I think that's kind of a good signal for a show.
Yeah.
There are a lot of, especially actory types that are like, you should never break on stage. And I get it for the most part. You don't want to be laughing throughout the entire show.
Right.
But man, sometimes they say something that is really, really funny.
Yeah.
And if you surround yourself with funny people that are funnier than you, like, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. You guys are up there having a good time, and if they're having a good time on stage, most of the time the audience is going to be having a good time too. So yeah, it happens, and I think it's cool, man.
See, we do that in acting. In theater, we do that in rehearsal.
Yeah.
So you have that rehearsal where something is fun, somebody says something, and you try to keep going. But every time you get to that one line, it's funny, and you just break out laughing. You can't do it, and you know on stage you can't do that. So with me, I produce some of my plays. So with that, I break the rules. I break the theater rules, and there are times that somebody will do something, and it's a serious scene, very dramatic, and somebody do something wrong. And I'll break character, and I'm just like, they were not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And the audience loves it. It's
like
that
the
realness
too.
to that.
Yeah.
And I think comedians, you guys get to do that so much.
For sure, and like, whenever the audience sees that on stage, it makes them feel like they're part of the special performance.
Right.
Like, oh, I saw this play a couple of times and it went exactly as planned. All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I got to see the specific moment where Ty went off book and made fun of somebody on stage as a joke. That is going to be the thing that I remember. And like creating those sorts of memorable moments that are discovered at the time, they're not planned, they're not part of the script. That's super fun for me. And that's why I love improv. And that's why I love doing that sort of thing in sketch as well. We've done the show multiple times. I'm going to add in this extra line here just to get my scene partner.
Gotcha.
The movie Nutty Professor, you said that, right?
Absolutely.
Buddy Love in the crowd.
Yeah.
You know, tearing
That
the
shit was
comedian
funny.
out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had that happen to you?
We're like a heckler.
Yeah.
Like, that would be Pat.
Right. I've done that.
He
Let
does.
it show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What
So what do you
What do you do to get
So
out of that
damn
moment to
rude.
bring the crowd back into feeling you?
Well, I mean, it depends on the sort of heckler. Sometimes they're just so loud that you got to move on to something else, right? But most of the time in improv, right, we're creating a scene between the different characters that are on stage. So it kind of breaks the reality for us to acknowledge, like, the audience member.
Okay.
But in stand-up or like storytelling or something like that, where it pops up, you just kind of address it, give them one line to kind of laugh that's truthful about what they've done so far, and then you move on to the next thing, man. Heckling isn't, thankfully, a big thing in improv and sketch, but when it happens, just kind of move on.
It's hard to heckle in a sketch because you don't know what the hell they do.
Exactly,
I
exactly.
was really speaking on stand-up.
But yeah,
Yeah,
stand up when it happens.
Stand up, yeah. I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it in stand up.
Rude ass.
No, I was good.
That didn't surprise
You hear that?
me.
I was good.
Yeah, I was good.
Like
He's the dude
it's
who's
no
like,
good. It's no
he's the
good.
guy that knows when to tell him to shut
You're
up.
not part of the show.
Disrespectful.
So in your memory right now, were you funnier than the stand-up that you were heckling?
Of course he gonna say yes.
We got that answer. from
Yeah,
you.
okay.
That ain't no point.
Cool.
Hey man, you've
Good
been
stuff.
around me. Yes, I really was.
Very good.
I'm a funny dude sometimes.
Funny looking.
No.
I concur.
I told you I have a.
I'll give you some time because I live with you, so I know. I'll give
Say-
you
say it
some.
again.
I will give
Don't
you
do
some
that. Don't do
time
that. Trey.
because I live with you.
Trey.
Yeah, trying to get that free
Trey's
rent.
trying to get the
Trey.
keys for this
Trey.
weekend.
No, he got his own card.
Thank you
He's
for
trying to
saying
get
that.
your card
Look.
for this weekend.
No.
Sometimes, Pat, we don't be laughing with you. We be really laughing at you.
That's the most funniest shit
No,
when
not
people laugh
because,
at
no,
you.
not because you funny, but just because you.
It doesn't matter.
Yes,
it doesn't
it
matter.
does.
As long as you laugh at me, I'm cool with it. It don't matter.
It don't matter.
Am I lying there?
Might just take
You just seem to
again.
want to
Is
have a
that
good
me too,
time.
David?
That's it.
You just want to have a good time.
That's it.
I love it.
I'm a good looking. You can't
Pass
deter
the
me from
ball,
being a good
Kobe.
looking dude.
What you mean?
I've noticed in life and in the world, good-looking dudes constantly walk around saying, "I'm a good-looking dude."
That-
Most of the time we the
I'm a
ugly
good-looking
dude, but if you gotta tell them people you're a good looking dude, you're ugly dude.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
So,
The 2018 Dallas Comedy Festival, March 27th through the 31st. You can go to dallascomedy.com to get more information. I want to find out what the Golden Egg is about. I know it's more than meets the eye.
Yeah, so like
but-
we've got a huge community of performers and students that call the Dallas Comedy House and the Dallas Comedy Festival home. So because Easter is happening the week after our festival this year, people have Easter on the brain, so we kind of leaned into that. So
Okay.
each night we're going to hide this little golden egg throughout. And whichever student, performer, whatever finds it, they get a free Jello shot at the bar.
Okay.
So just
Shot.
There you go, Joe.
shot.
So wait a minute, we said students. Are you guys, I know you're talking about college right now, but what about the Booker T. Washington School of Arts over there?
Yeah.
Do you guys get a lot of those kids come over there?
Absolutely. Yeah, there are a lot of people that as they're going through Booker T. Maybe they'll take part in like our kids camp or something like that, or come out and see this certain thing. And you just get to teach them those best practices and set them up to succeed.
Cool.
I don't know. Hold on for you.
Oh, yeah.
For the, you know, I gotta look out for my kids, man. What's your best advice for any kid that's, you know, has aspirations of becoming a comedian?
His daughter.
Yeah, so honestly,
Whoever.
just ingrain yourself in it as much as you can. People who love comedy will want to be surrounded by it constantly, be it watching it at home, reading about it, going to shows, taking classes to learn about it, and you just find this community of people that can be really special.
Okay.
You get to surround yourself with others, so just ingrain yourself in it.
John?
That's what I had a problem with. Finding people
There's a
that
lot
be
of
around me
problems.
that's like me.
Which problem did you have?
All right, Amy. John,
Yep.
you're
Because we've already ran over on our time, so we don't have time for all the problems.
For what you do, what advice would you give?
You know, it's a similar thing that you put yourself in an area to be able to do that stuff. So like if a kid wanted to be or was interested in being a publicist, in fact this just happened at that film festival I just mentioned, where I had 2 students from Cal Poly who wanted to be going to public relations, and I said, come on, you can be my assistant and help me run the red carpet, and I will show you, and because I'm not precious with my information, I don't care, I'll tell you, and I said, I will show you exactly how you run a red carpet. And I had two girls from Cal Poly, and they helped me run the red carpet. They helped me, introduce Pam to the people she was talking to do her interviews, and the other filmmakers. And so what they take from that, when they go back to their class and they have their class studies, well, now they also have like a real world thing, like something they can actually put on the resume and go, how you talk differently when you go, well, I was in the room while stuff was happening, versus I actually did that.
Right.
Well, those 2 kids. Now, the 19-year-old and 20-year-old girl, they now have the same. You go, no, I was actually on a red carpet. That was legit.
Right.
And so that you just like what Dave was saying, as far as Dallas Comedy House has classes all year round.
Okay.
So your daughter could go there and take stand-up classes or take improv classes, and she can figure out. She goes, I'm more of a sketch girl, or no, I like actually being just me and the microphone telling what's on my mind, and she'll figure that out by being in that environment.
She's actually been doing it for a year and a half, so she's doing all kinds of stuff.
She get a lot of material looking at her daddy.
Yeah.
But honestly, though, as far as like, as far as becoming a comedian,
You've been holding that
as far as
in.
like becoming a comedian and just getting better at it, the biggest you can do is just do it, man. There are open mics for stand-up that happen all the time.
Not you, Pat. Not you.
There are like improv jam sessions where anybody can pop up and try improv comedy for
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Every single Tuesday at the Dallas Comedy House, 8
Just
o'clock.
pop up.
His
Just
damn
pop up.
light bulb just
Pop up.
came on.
I'll be there tomorrow, Pat.
Oh,
Just pop up.
shit.
Pop up.
Just show, look at me, I got a joke to tell.
Shit.
Yeah, well, so that would be more of open mics. What you're talking about, where like you just pop out there alone and just
I'm
do
a
a joke.
heckle the
You're like,
shit out
"Hey,
y'all."
Hey, I can do it all, man.
I'm gonna heckle the hell out your ass.
David,
You couldn't.
You gotta just do it, man. You
shit.
gotta do
first
it.
time Pat walks through, I can see you.
Hey, look.
No. If Pat walks through, I will put my arm around him. I will introduce him to anybody he wants to know. You'll have a good time.
So you're not gonna have a job.
I could be the new Kevin Hart, man.
No,
I'm on the show.
Thanks for free.
listen, you're not gonna have a job if you allow that to happen.
No, after the festival,
So I need to work security
We're
with
gonna set a date and we're all gonna come out.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Whoa.
Oh, he said
After the festival. We want to go to the
They're not
damn
gonna
festival.
they're not gonna do the open mic during the festival.
Well, we want to go see me.
We're gonna
Hey,
be at the festival, yeah.
No, you keep saying we. as in we as I Am Royalty Radio.
Yes.
But are you saying we at Disney Sports Access Show
We have-
gonna be at the?
We have several days, we'll work that out.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna rent a van. I'm just gonna swing by and pick you guys up, pop in, and then we'll just go to the.
Hey, just do it long. We got something to drink. I'm cool.
No,
Absolutely.
no,
That's
that's
why-
the problem.
exactly
I'll join
where-
Pat after a couple of drinks,
No.
even worse.
Don't worry,
Listen,
don't worry,
Pat,
Amy
no.
and Trey, I talked with them G's
It's
earlier
him.
today.
Pat.
She's gonna get me up, and I
talk-
represent the show.
You talk to Allie? You talk to Allie?
Who?
Oh, them jeans?
Them
I
jeans.
just said them jeans.
I know, that's
Is that
what
her
I'm
name?
saying.
You
Yeah.
can't call out no names, man.
Hey man,
it's-
I just got a text from Pat's wife. It says, do not let Pat drink. Do not let this happen.
Hey, she might say that for real.
I just
Yeah, for real.
I just text him.
Unless it's the middle of the night, then she's like, drink it all, baby, and come on with me. Hey,
Well, we're looking forward to it this weekend.
Hey man, we have enjoyed our time with John Wildman and David Allison.
You got it.
Yeah, I don't want to mess up anybody's name.
You know, they
With
got
the,
nine.
with the Dallas Comedy Festival show that starts what we got March 27th through March 31st.
Wednesday through Saturday this week.
Wait, there you go. I like that. Wednesday through Saturday
That's
this
that
week. Y'all need to check it out, man. This David guy, he put the shit on, so it got to be funny. I want to go see how funny it is myself, and then I'll be like, David, hold on, man. No, I'm just kidding.
Hold on.
I think it's gonna, I think it's gonna be funny. I think you're funny. Special, it's really funny thinking you can be in basketball. That's some funny shit, bro.
What's funny about it?
Cause you can't.
He said he can.
Honestly.
I might put
It's only one way to
To be
find out.
continued.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Is
Hey
that
man.
Pat's jumper?
That's all I got.
He lost that in '86.
No.
So
I still-
90 something.
I didn't graduate to 89, so I still got
So he lost that in '93.
I have taught a lot of kids to shoot.
Like that.
Teaching
and doing is two
is
different
two
things.
different things, sir.
Except when it comes to shooting, this don't
You
ever have to change.
gotta show them
Care
how
how
to
old
use
you
the
get,
ball.
that don't change. I can do that all day.
Hey, man, you listen to This and That Sports Access Show on I Am Royalty Radio.
Sure.
We got to get ready to get out of here. We'll be back Wednesday. Our special guest host will be Joe Donaldson from Wilma Hutchins High School.
Well, I still don't know.
Keep his current.
Who don't know Joe Donaldson? Oh, God.
The current.
That's your
A lot
call.
of us.
Hey, we have enjoyed John Wildman, David Allison.
Where is Trey? Where is Joe Donaldson at? Where is he at right now? Trey?
I was just Irving Nimitz.
Irving Nimitz.
Irving
where is
Nimitz
that?
High School.
Irving
You never said it. You just said Wilma Hutchins like nobody else mattered. But whatever.
He always do that.
Hey, man.
No, ain't no amen. Ain't no
Just
amen.
saying. I'm talking about John
This
and
is a
David.
comedy show, as you can see.
We got
Ain't
another,
no-
another second place dude coming in here.
Hey man, we see y'all. We see y'all on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and hopefully we'll see you guys out there.
That man personally.
When we be out there Friday,
We'll be out there every day.
I Am Royalty Radio.
You're really trying to find a way to
Man,
get
you just said. Hopefully we'll see y'all at the comedy show. Some of you guys, I know people personally say it's nothing to do in Dallas, but damn it, it's something to do Wednesday
Through
to
Saturday.
through Saturday
Yep.
in Dallas. If you want to laugh, there's some white guys, some black people. They're gonna make you laugh. Come check it out. This is Coach Pat.
Get some
This is
culture in your
Sports
life.
Access Show.
You got it.
80-40